Hello, my little goblins. We're back at it again, and this time we got another spicy number, and this time it comes with the name Morphtronic. And you might be saying, what in tarnation is a Morphtronic? And let's just say, if you watch the anime of 5Ds, there's these two kids who are twins. One of them played Morphtronics, and the other one had Ancient Fairy Dragon, and we're playing them both. The one that was playing Morphtronics was also playing Power Tool Dragon, which we're playing that too. And we're also playing the new Power Tool Dragon. So, what new cards did Morphtronics get to actually make them actually be able to do anything in this game? Well, Telephon is a massive one. This card is an infinite loop. So if you have a Telephon in the graveyard, it can permanently keep reviving itself. None of these Morphtronic cards are once per turn. Hard once per turns. So that is another good one. Gadget Gamer is another big card the deck got. This card allows you to pretty much full combo, or like semi-full combo. It lets you go into a 7 for free too. You're able to pretty much search Telephon out of the deck, and then special summon Telephon, and you can special summon Gadget Hauler to let you go into a 7, which you can go into Ancient Fairy Dragon, or you can go into Power Tool Dragon. In the options for Power Tool Dragon, you're pretty much going to want to grab Fleurette de Fleur, and this card's going to let you special summon a level 2 or lower monster from the graveyard to the field. It just lets you continue doing plays. But ideally, what we want to be doing is you get Morphtronic Telephon on the field, you machine duplication it, and then that lets you can go into Auroradon and then go into all these synchro plays. Another powerful interaction this deck got, because we have the new Power Tool Braver Dragon, is when this card comes on the field, you can equip up to 3 different cards to it. And so we're able to connect Smoke Grenade with Rod of Silence Kayest. And Kayest actually negates the Smoke Grenade, but since Smoke Grenade technically equipped, it pops immediately, and then you can look at your opponent's hand, discard a card, and then immediately after you can bring back Telephon from the graveyard and then go into a Baron de Fleur. So there's the play there. That's like one of the plays that the deck pretty much got if you're looking to go down that route. But yeah, this is we're gonna give this a whirl. I'm pretty excited to try this. Another big card this deck got is Morphtronic Earphon. And this card, pretty much when it comes onto the field, you can make another card into a tuner monster. And then also you can it pretty much attach this from the graveyard to a synchro monster. And that card can attack onto 2 monsters each battle phase. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. We're going to get into some games, and then we're going to do a recap. But first, we're going to change it up a little. We're actually going to go over the combo so you guys can see how the combo is done so it doesn't confuse anyone. Let's get to it. Alrighty, we're here, and let's go over the combo. We're playing against the Covenant Dragon Army, very powerful opponent. We pretty much are going to lead off with Telephon. So we're going to normal summon Telephon, then activate Machine Duplication. Special summon, yada yada, yada yada. And then we're going to activate Telephon's effect, because we're troll, just to gain life points. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Almirage. So the reason why we're going to Almirage, and by the way, this could be a Link Kuriboh. Link Kuriboh might be better in a lot of circumstances. I just found that there's our level 3, there's a level 3 Morphtronic that I kept, a lot of games I would end up with this card in my hand, and you obviously can't you can't send that to the graveyard with Link Kuriboh. So that's why I ended up putting Almirage. But this card is weaker if Telephon ends up getting special summoned from the deck. It is a weaker card. So Link Kuriboh might be a better spot here, just saying. Alright, so we're going to activate the first effect of Telephon. Also, you always want to special summon these in attack mode, because their effects don't work in defense. So, secondly, you go into Barricade. And then we're going to activate Telephon again. You're gonna see how repetitive this is. Technically, you could just link climb. You can make like a link climb deck with this. But again, like I said, part of the weakness this deck has is very reliant on Telephone. It's very reliant, I would say, on your normal summon. Because if I normal summon Telephone and then my opponent like somehow stops my play, I'm actually in a lot of trouble, right? Now look at my hand. I got 1/1 here. There's a few things I could do, but we're gonna do. If our opponent had Nibiru, they would just Nibiru us already. So we're just gonna say, hey, what the hell? We're just gonna go into the normal Earphone play. If you're concerned about some type of negate or something he might have, you might want to go into Arclight. But we're not going to do that. I don't think it's necessary. And then we're going to use Telephone again. Boom. It's kind of like when you're watching this play out, you're actually thinking in your mind, like, holy shit, this deck is absolutely busted. Right? Like, you're looking at this right now and you're like, this is actually bananas. Like, what? How is this a deck? Well, we got Crystal Wing out now. Well, what should we do at this point? If you said summon another Morphtronic, you were correct. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how this card's not once like not a hard once per turn. But I'm gonna go into Power Tool Braver. So this is the interaction I'm talking about when this card gets summoned. It doesn't matter the order you pick. It works regardless. So now this gets negated. It gets popped. Then that effect activates. I can activate it. I look at my opponent's hand. I'm like, you know what? I'm really afraid of that level 3, but you know what? The 2000 defense, it's kind of rough. So we're going to get rid of that. And then we are going to send this to the graveyard. Go back to where you came. Go into Baron to Fleur. Now we're going to activate Telephone again. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. We want to hit a 4. We actually want to hit a 4 or higher here. Right? So here we're actually going to go into this. Here's Arclight. Technically off of this though, we want to be hitting a 4. And we do. So now we're going to bring this back out. Now this lets us go into Notoria Beast. And then we're able to use Maiden's Effect to bring back Crystal Wing. Alright, so now we're going to look. What do we have here? This is pretty much the board you want to build. We have an Omni Negate. We have a Spell Negate. And remember, Notoria Beast can negate a ton of cards. As long as you have cards in your deck, you can keep negating. So Notoria... what is it, like 17 spell negate, Crystal Wing, Monster Negate, and then Herald Arclight, another Omni Negate. So we got 2 Omni Negates, 17 spell negates, and finally a Monster Negate. And that's pretty good. That's kind of what we'll do. And then remember, the Power Dragon also discarded a card, so our opponent is down a card too. Ideally, the reason why you want to be doing this with the Power Tool Braver Dragon is because this deck, what are these types of decks weak to? Well, I can tell you these types of deck are weak to Kaijus. So if my opponent had a Lava Golem, pretend my opponent's playing Runic Sprite, and the deck usually runs 2 to 3 Lava Golems. If he Lava Golem me, let's say he hit Notoria Beast, and he hits my Baron de Fleur, or he hits my... Actually, most likely hit Arclight, because Arclight seems better. So, let's just say he hits these 2 cards. Or let's just say he hits these 2. That's a big hit to me. Like, I'm talking about, like, that is a massive hit to me. Now, I could snipe. Hey, you have Lava Golem? Goodbye. No, you don't. Now it's going to be a lot harder for him to deal with. This board, if you're able to snipe the Lava Golem out of their hand, this board's like an auto win against Runic. because Notoria Beast is just a permanent spell negate. He's not going to be able to out it. And that deck normally doesn't run Droplet. So, yeah, it's pretty powerful. This is ideally what you want to go into. Obviously, this is not all the time you can go into. I would say on a priority system, you definitely want to at least get like 1 or 2 negates up, and I think it's pretty manageable with this deck. I think it's pretty manageable to go into at least Baron and possibly Crystal Wing. Yeah, Baron and Crystal Wing, I think that's bare minimum you should be able to go into most of the time. I will say that if your opponent negates Auroradon, I feel like the deck has a hard time coming back from that. And there is one way you can come back from that, or actually play out the hand. And that would be is if we were playing with the gamer bot. Because the gamer, let me see if I can find the card. It would be able to special summon this level 6, and then they could do some plays with the level 6 and Ancient Fairy Dragon. So, other than that, this is ideally what you want to be going into. So let's get into some games. You guys can see how the deck actually performs. Hello, we're here with game number 1, and we're playing against Yami Halley Yu. Oh my goodness, Yugi has a cousin maybe. We're gonna 1-for-1, more for Telephone. By the way, if 1-for-1 goes to like 3 at some point, actually doubt it ever will, I think this deck would be a lot better, a lot more consistent. Like I said, part of the problem with this deck is you need Telephone. Telephone pretty much activates a lot of your combos, and you don't need to have the infinite loop, but the infinite loop does let you set it up. Fortunately, here our opponent doesn't seem to really have any answers. No hand traps coming from them. We're gonna bring it back, and then we're going to Garden Maiden. You guys know how it does. We've seen the combo video. And then we're going to go on Crystal Wing. And then we're going to go into Parasynchro. And now we're going to see what our opponent has in his deck. Like, what is he playing? Right, this pops. We see our opponent is playing Punk. Now, if you look at his hand, if you guys know, this is where knowing when you're playing cards like this that you discard your opponent, you get to look at your opponent's hand and stuff. It's very important to know what type of cards he plays in this deck. He's obviously playing Gamma, so watch out for that in the future. But he's also playing Deer Note. Like, Deer Note is one of the best cards in Punk. So we're probably going to get rid of that. It's between Deer Note and, honestly, Extreme. Like, those are the 2 cards we're really picking here. But I think with our board, since we're recovering the Telephones over and over and over, he has no way of interacting, we should be able to go into Notoria Beast. So I think Deer Note is the clear choice here. So we get rid of Deer Note. And then Telephone activates. Activates again, and this time, so if you guys are wondering why I went to Earphone so quickly, we're actually not going to go into Baron de Fleur, because this is the thing, when you're rolling the dice with these Morphtronic cards, right, I have to hope to roll a 4 or higher to go into the Notoria play, and I feel like the Notoria play to get rid of Jammer is more important, and plus you also have to remember Power Tool Braver Dragon has a monster negate still, so I'll still be able to negate any monster he plays in the field, and I'll still have an Omni negate with Arclight. So and I'm also gonna have another monster negate with Crystal Wing. So the only thing I won't have protection from is a trap, and the only trap he has in his hand is Jory Punk, which is like a monster negate, which is not that big of a deal. He can't activate it, and that's why he concedes. It's too much for him to deal with, and I kind of figured from looking at his hand. So, GG. Hello, everybody. We're here with game number 2, and this is, we have a pretty good start here. We play Foolish Burial, play Telephone, seeing if my opponent has a Veiler or something. He plays Maxi. I'm just like, so the reason I'm playing into this, I'm just tilted already. I could have just ended here, but I've been tilted throughout the night. I wasn't having a good night on stream. So, you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking play through this shit. And we're just going to rock it, dude. Telephone's going to activate. Like, if my opponent had, like, a negate at this point, like, you 100% play it here, right? You like, to negate this. So I'm, like, not too worried about him, like, imperming me. Or anything like that. And also, we already kind of figure what our we're pretty sure our opponent's on Dark Magician because we played against this person before. So we're playing against, we're doing Air Fawn. Here we go. There goes Rose Maiden. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. Going into Power Tool Dragon to send a card from his hand to the graveyard is kind of laughable at this point. He has like a million cards in his hand. Like, look, he's playing Dark Magician, and yeah, we end up grabbing the Eternal Soul. Probably not the best because I think most lists probably play 2 of them. But honestly, dude, if we're gonna, at this point on stream, I'm already telling everyone I'm gonna try and deck him out. So like, that is my mindset. You have to understand my mindset here. So bring that back. Ah. So he plays Mahad. We're gonna go for Notoria Beast. So the Mahad's a little annoying here. We're gonna be able to deal with it because we have 2 pops. But I need something to not kill my Notoria Beast. Like, I need to make sure he doesn't summon anything over 2200. Because I can't have him killing it because I want to negate all his spells. I think that's the way of winning this. If we have a chance of winning this, at least. We get rid of Arclight, which possibly is a bad choice. But remember, we're trying to deck him out. So here comes Stardust. We have 3 cards left in the extra deck. He's gonna Ash. I literally don't care. Here comes another one. So we got Power Tool. I'm trying to think. We got 5 cards. We go on the Borload. Okay. And then we activate that, the special summon Kristan. Pop it. 4. So we're at 3,300 life. I'm trying to think, like, was there a way that we could, like, fully deck him out? I don't think there was. I think we're kind of tapped out. The only thing I could think of is if we were able to clear more board space. Like, somehow, we would have to... Huh. You know what I could have done that would have been way more YOLO? Is I bring back Crystal Wing, and then when I go into Borload Savage, or even when I was going to Borload Savage, I negate the going into it with Baron. I send it to the graveyard. This would free up more space for me to keep comboing Tella. I possibly could have decked him out, which is unfortunate. So he's gonna Harpies me. I negate. He's gonna call by. At this point, I actually did not negate, which I actually think I should have. I think I should have just negated. I was just afraid that, like, if I burn through... So, well, the way Notoria Beast works, right? It negates the activation. So, like, if someone activates, like, a hard once per turn effect card, since I negated the activation, they can actually activate the card again. So, like, cards like... Dark Magician has a lot of those types of cards. So, like, I had to be very worried about, like, what I am actually negating. So again, we're trying to stop any monster coming out that's 2200 attack or more. So we're gonna negate. He's activating Soul Servant. I actually... So, in my defense... No, I'm gonna be completely honest. I should have straight up just negated all of them. I should have straight up negated all the Soul Servants, because I actually think these Soul Servants make me lose the game. Like, I'm pretty sure these Soul Servants are gonna fuck me over. Because, like, he ends up getting Muhammad. I have to negate the Dark Magician Circle. Right? But now he's able to activate the Soul Servant to draw the Muhammad, and now he has a 2500 attack on board. And I also want to point out, if I pop the Muhammad with Baron, right? The Baron's effect, I'm also fucked. So, he attacks, I take 15 hundo there. He attacks here, he takes 5 hundo. So this is a big misplay on his part. I think he thought this was a dark for some reason. He attacks into it instead of killing the Hitoria Beast. I have to go for the negate here. Like, if I don't negate this, he summons Dark Magician and kills the Hitoria Beast. Dude, this is, like, so annoying. He sets 4. And I actually have it, like you're gonna see. You're gonna see. So he sets 5. He discards a fuck ton of cards. And this was fucking foreshadowing here. I go for a pop here. He actually flips up Skill Drain. The thing is, I do have an out to Skill Drain because I do run Auroradon. So Aurora, like, I immediately, you're gonna see, I'm gonna activate Auroradon. Tribute itself, so pop the Skill Drain. But he has the Call by the Grave as well. So he negates my Call by the Grave. And now I have to have a different game plan. Now the game plan is, I pass and I try and deck him out, just like wait out 2 turns. I'm at 11,000, almost 12,000 life points. Pretty low chance I die. But remember, he did draw his entire deck, so he activates Eternal Soul. Brings back a Dark Magician. And then he fucking Raigekis me. Very, very unfortunate. But again, he needs to get a lot of damage on board. So we'll see if he can get there. But like I said, he is playing Dark Magician. I mean, he did draw his entire deck. Like, if there's a way for him to finish me, it would definitely be through this. And he actually does have enough to kill me. Kind of a yikes. I thought that was a cool game to show you guys, and people on the stream thought it was a cool game to show too. Pretty crazy though, pretty annoying, but it is what it is. We're actually gonna go to the recap. Hello, my little goblins, and welcome to the recap. I appreciate you guys being here. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. Just do it. Just please do it. I don't want to keep asking. Just subscribe. If you guys enjoy it, if you guys watched a few of my videos, subscribe already. Also join our Discord. The link is down below. Today, if you're watching this as it's posted today, right, we have a tournament actually going on. At 6 p.m. Eastern. It is a 5D tournament. So join the Discord and you guys can find out information and try and squeeze in before we start. Alright? That all be saying, let's talk about the deck. How'd the deck perform? The deck was just extremely mediocre, and I predicted that pretty much before I even started playing the deck. Which is unfortunate because I did craft a few cards for this. Like, I crafted I was actually testing this out with 2 smoke grenades, and I crafted one. That was a horrible decision, wasting my gems. But I will say this, like, I think this deck is close to being good. The big problem with this deck is it's so reliant on the normal summon. So you have Gadget Gamer, which is a very good start. You can, when you normal summon this get impermed, ashed, effect veilered, what have you. You pretty much, your turn's over. You play Telephone, right? And if your opponent pops this card immediately, or you play Telephone, Machine Duplication. If you get ashed, or you get ashed, or they pop the card on the machine, like on the activation, like you're just kind of fucked, right? So I don't know. The combo, the cards that come out of your end board is very powerful, right? Like, you discard a card from your opponent has. You end with 2 Omni Negates, Monster Negate, Spell Negates. Like, you end up actually having a lot for an end board. It's a pretty solid end board. But the problem is you're weak to kaijus. If your opponent just happens to have lava golem, but then your opponent has hand traps, right? Your opponent hand traps you a few times. You're only able to build up like 1 or 2 negates, and then you get lava golemed on. Like it comes to your turn and you get lava golemed. You're kind of just fucked. And like I said, Runic Sprite is a menace on the ladder, especially in like D3 and higher. It's a menace. And that deck runs 2 to 3 lava golems, and there's really not much you can do about it. If the deck, so the last video I made was Punk, right? Let's compare the differences. Punk, the end board not as oppressive, but you have a lot more follow-up with Punk, and Punk can play through a ton of hand traps. This deck just cannot play through that many hand traps, and that's what holds it back. I really was hoping to make this like good or fun, like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm not even gonna say it's that fun of a deck, because like getting hand trapped like twice and then losing the game because you just got hand trapped, you lost rock paper scissors, like it's just not enjoyable. Like so I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if you guys were thinking about making Morphtronic, just don't make it. Play a different deck. Play a more competitive deck. Either play a Sprite deck, any other variation of Sprite, or play Punk. I think Punk was extremely fun and very, very viable. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm actually just gonna give this deck a 7. Or no, 7's probably too mean. Like 7.5. Because like I said, this deck has a very powerful end board, but getting to that end board through hand traps, when so many decks are running so many hand traps, it feels like a very impossible task, especially against like good players, you know what I mean? Like players that are like building their deck around it, like you're just gonna lose. But yeah, it ended up tilting me, just losing games, just losing the coin flip. You just lose games. And even when we were winning the coin flip, our opponent was just like, we would either we'd brick half the time, or not half the time, we'd brick like a decent amount though, and my opponent would just have like 2 hand traps and I just lose. I'm like, okay, well, they play Ash. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna call by the grave of Ash, or I just lose. And it's like, well, Max C. It's like, well, it's either I play through the Max C, try to build a board, but you could easily break it, or, you know what I mean? Like this power tool play doesn't feel very good if your opponent drew already 30 cards from their fucking Max C, you know? So yeah, it's one of those things, you know? On a tier list, this is definitely like rogue / meme tier. I'm gonna put it like that. But yeah, save your gems, save your money. I would build something else. But I hope you guys enjoyed the games at least. Let me know how you guys feel about this format. Do you guys enjoy me just posting like 2 games, like 1 to 2 games, and a deck, like a combo guide? Or do you guys prefer when I post 6 games? Do you guys want me to go through that and post 6 games? I'm just wondering, because like I look around the Yugioh tuber space, and I don't see anyone really posting really long content like I do, like where they post in like 6+ games in a single video for every single video. And it seems like their videos seem like they do pretty well too. So yeah, I'm just trying to get a feelers out. Let me know down in the comments whether or not what you prefer, because I take the comments to heart, because you guys are the ones who watch me, so that helps out a lot. All right, goodbye.